The palace was quiet that morning. Too quiet. Captain William Stone walked slowly down the long hallway. His boots made soft sounds on the cold marble floor. He had walked this same path every morning for 15 years. But today felt different. Something was wrong. William was 50 years old. His hair was gray now. His face showed lines from many years of hard work. But his eyes were still sharp. He noticed everything. That was his job. He protected the royal family. He kept them safe from danger. The east wing of the palace belonged to Princess Emma. She was 25 years old. Everyone loved her. She spent her days helping poor children. She visited hospitals. She talked to common people like they were her friends. Emma was kind. Emma was good. Emma made the palace feel warm, but William had not seen Emma in 3 days. He stopped walking. He stood outside her door. The big wooden door was closed. It was always closed now. William felt worried. Princess Emma never closed her door. She liked when people visited. She liked hearing voices and laughter. A closed door was strange. A closed door for 3 days was very wrong. William looked down. Something white was on the floor, a piece of paper. It was folded small and pushed under the door. His heart beat faster. He bent down and picked it up. His hands shook a little as he opened it. The writing was Emma's. He knew her handwriting well, but the words made his blood feel cold. Help me. I am locked inside. She will not let me leave. 3 days now, no food. She watches me always. She is not what everyone thinks. Please hurry. Emma. William read it again and again. Who was she? Emma lived alone in her rooms. Servants came and went freely. There were no reports of strangers in the palace. Everything seemed normal. But here was Emma's note. Here was her cry for help. He knocked on the door. Hard. Princess Emma? It is Captain Stone. Please answer me. Silence. He knocked again. Louder this time. Emma. Open the door. Nothing. No sound came from inside. No footsteps. No voice. Just empty silence that made William's worry grow bigger. He tried the door handle. Locked. Locked from the inside. This was very wrong. Emma never locked her door. Never. Not in all the years William had known her. William pulled out his radio. He started to call for help, but then he stopped. The note said, "She watches." If someone was holding Emma prisoner, calling everyone might put her in more danger. William needed to think clearly. He needed to be smart. One wrong choice could hurt Emma. He looked at the door more carefully. It was old, very old, made from thick oak wood. There were iron pieces holding it together. Breaking it would take time. It would make noise. Too much noise. But there were windows. Emma's rooms had big windows that faced the garden. William's mind worked fast. The windows were on the 3rd floor. High up, but maybe he could find another way inside. William ran down the hallway. He went down the stairs quickly. His breath came fast. Every second felt too long. Emma was trapped. Emma needed him. He could not waste time. He went outside to the garden. The cold October air hit his face. Morning fog still covered the grass and flowers. William looked up at the east wing. He counted the windows until he found Emma's room. The curtains were closed. Emma loved sunlight. She always opened her curtains. Closed curtains meant something was very wrong. Then William saw it. The window frame had marks on it. Fresh marks. Someone had tried to open the window from inside. Someone had tried and failed. William felt sick. He thought about the past week. Had there been signs? Had he missed something important? Then he remembered. 5 days ago, he saw Emma in the hallway. She looked tired, very tired. Her eyes had dark circles under them. Her smile seemed forced, not real. "Are you well, Princess?" William had asked. "Just tired, Captain." Emma had said. "Lady Margaret has been helping me plan the charity event. She is very helpful, Lady Margaret." The name came back to William like a warning. Lady Margaret Frost had arrived at the palace 2 months ago. She said she was Emma's distant cousin. She had good papers, good recommendations. She seemed perfect, beautiful, smart, charming. The Queen loved her. Everyone loved her. Everyone except William. There was something about Lady Margaret that felt wrong. Her smile was pretty, but her eyes were cold. She touched Emma too much, her hand always on Emma's arm, always standing too close, always watching. The servants whispered that Lady Margaret had moved into the rooms next to Emma's. To be near the princess, she had said, to help whenever needed. 3 days ago, Lady Margaret sent all of Emma's servants away. "The princess is tired," Lady Margaret had told them. "She needs rest. I will take care of her myself." 3 days, the same time as Emma's note. William's hands formed fists. How had he not seen this? How had he failed to protect Emma? The guilt burned hot in his chest. But there was no time for guilt now. Emma needed him. Right now, he looked around the garden. There had to be a way inside. Then he remembered something. The old service gate.
It was built into the wall long ago. Workers used it to bring supplies to the upper floors. Nobody used it anymore. It was locked, forgotten, covered in plants. But led straight to Emma's floor. William ran through the wet grass. His heart pounded. His legs pushed hard. He had to reach that gate. He had to break through. He had to save Emma before it was too late. The gate was hidden behind old vines and bushes. The iron was rusty. The lock was old and broken down. William grabbed the bars with both hands. He pulled hard, very hard. The gate did not move. He pulled again. His muscles hurt. His hands hurt. But the gate stayed closed. William stepped back. He was breathing hard now. He looked at the gate. He looked at the lock. He needed something to break it. Something heavy. Something strong. His eyes found a stone bench nearby. Perfect. William grabbed the bench. It was heavy, made of marble. He dragged it across the ground. It made loud scraping sounds. He did not care about noise now. He only cared about Emma. He lifted one end of the bench. He swung it at the lock. Metal hit metal. The sound was loud like a gunshot. But the lock held. Again, he hit it again. The bench cracked a little, but the lock was breaking too. Old metal starting to give way 0.3 more times. 4, 5. Sweat ran down William's face, even though the morning was cold. His arms shook. His back hurt. But he did not stop. The 7th hit did it. The lock shattered into pieces. They fell to the ground like broken teeth. William threw the bench aside. He grabbed the gate with both hands. He pulled. The old hinges screamed. They did not want to open. But William was stronger. The gate opened with a horrible grinding sound. Beyond the gate was darkness. A narrow stairway going up. The air smelled old and stale. William turned on his small flashlight. He stepped inside. The stairs were steep, covered in dust and spider webs. William climbed fast but careful. Each step took him higher, closer to Emma, closer to danger. His radio made noise. "Captain Stone, what was that sound? Please respond." William ignored it. He could not explain now. He could not wait for permission or backup. Emma was in danger. Every second counted. The stairs seemed to go on forever. But finally William reached the top. Another door. This one was wood, old and swollen. He pushed it. Stuck. William threw his shoulder against it once. Twice. On the third try, the wood broke. The door opened. William stumbled into a narrow hallway. Dim light came through cracks. He knew where he was now. Emma's rooms were just beyond the wall to his left. Then he heard a voice, soft and sweet, but something about it made William's skin crawl. It was Lady Margaret's voice. "You need to eat, darling. You look so pale." William pressed against the wall. He listened hard. His hand touched the gun on his belt. He hoped he would not need it. But he was ready, ready for anything. Behind that wall was Emma, trapped, scared, waiting. And William was going to bring her home. William stood very still against the cold wall. He could hear everything now. Lady Margaret was talking. Her voice sounded sweet like honey. But William knew it was fake. It was a lie. "I am not hungry." Emma's voice was weak. So weak. William's heart hurt hearing her like this. The strong, happy princess sounded broken. Scared. "Not hungry? But you have not eaten in 3 days, darling. I am worried about you." Lady Margaret's voice changed a little. William could hear anger hiding under her sweet words. "You need to be strong. You need to stay here with me where it is safe. Please let me go," Emma begged. Her voice was shaking. "I promise I will not tell anyone. Just please, let me leave this room." Lady Margaret laughed. It was not a nice laugh. It was cold, mean. "Leave? And go where, Emma? To those servants who talk about you behind your back? To your family who only cares about your title? No, no, no. You are staying right here. Here you are safe. Here you are mine." William's hands formed tight fists. His whole body was tense. He wanted to break through the wall right now. He wanted to grab Lady Margaret and throw her in prison. But he had to be smart. He had to have a plan. If he rushed in without thinking, Emma could get hurt. He moved slowly along the narrow hallway. His flashlight showed him the old walls. There had to be another way into Emma's room. Some old entrance that servants used long ago. Then he saw it. A small panel in the wall. It was old, covered in dust. William remembered reading about the palace history. Long ago, servants used these panels to bring food to the rooms without going through the main door. The panel was small but big enough for a person to fit through. William knelt down. He looked at the panel closely. There was a latch on the inside. If he could break it open quietly, he could get into Emma's room. But the noise might warn Lady Margaret. He needed to distract her first. He needed a plan. Through the wall, he heard Emma speak again. "I dropped a note under the door. Someone will find it. Captain Stone walks past my door every morning. He will know something is wrong." Silence. Then Lady Margaret's voice turned angry. Very angry. All the sweetness was gone now. "A note? What note? When did you do that?" William heard fast footsteps, then a crashing sound like something being thrown. "You stupid girl. Do you know what you have done?" "Captain Stone will save me," Emma said. Her voice was stronger now, braver. "He will find your note, and he will come. He always protects me." Captain Stone. Lady Margaret said the name like it was poison. "That old soldier? Even if he found your note, he will not do anything. Men like him follow rules. They ask for permission. They wait for orders. By the time he gets help, it will be too late. You will already be gone." William's jaw tightened. Lady Margaret thought he was weak. She thought he would not act alone. She was wrong. Very wrong. He looked at the panel again. He had to move now. Emma was crying. He could hear her soft sobs through the wall. Lady Margaret was talking again. Her voice was gentle now, pretending to be kind, trying to make Emma believe she was crazy, that she was sick, that staying locked in this room was for her own good. William had heard enough. He positioned himself in front of the panel. He took a deep breath. Then he kicked the panel as hard as he could. The wood exploded inward with a loud crash. Pieces flew everywhere. William did not wait. He threw himself through the opening. He rolled into the room and jumped his feet. What he saw made him sick with anger. Emma sat in a chair near the window. Her hands were tied with silk scarves. Her dress was dirty and wrinkled. She had been wearing it for 3 days. Her face was thin and pale. Her eyes were red from crying. But when she saw William, those eyes filled with hope, with relief. Lady Margaret stood next to Emma. One hand gripped Emma's shoulder tight. Too tight. Emma's face showed pain. Lady Margaret wore a beautiful dress. Her hair was perfect. She looked like a noble lady. But her eyes showed madness. Pure madness. "Captain Stone," Lady Margaret said slowly. Her fingers dug deeper into Emma's shoulder. Emma winced but did not cry out. "You are here. How surprising." And how very stupid of you to come alone. Let her go, William commanded. His voice was strong and calm. This ends right now. Lady Margaret smiled. It was a terrible smile. Does it? I do not think you understand, Captain. If you come closer, I will hurt her. If you call for help, I will hurt her. If you do anything I do not like, I will hurt her very badly. Do you understand me? Lady Margaret pulled out a small knife. The blade was thin and sharp. It caught the light from the window. She held it against Emma's throat. Not cutting, just touching, just threatening. Emma made a small sound of fear. Her whole body was shaking. William forced himself to stay calm. Lady Margaret was desperate, cornered. Desperate people made mistakes. He just needed to wait for the right moment. He needed to keep her talking. You are right, William said. He raised his hand slowly. I understand. You love Emma. You want to protect her. I can see that. Lady Margaret's eyes became suspicious. What are you doing, Captain? What game is this? No game, William said. He took one small step forward. Very small. I just want to understand. Tell me why you're doing this. Maybe we can find a solution together. Lady Margaret looked at him for a long time. The knife stayed at Emma's throat. Then something changed in her face. She looked sad, almost hurt, like a child who lost something precious. You want to understand? Lady Margaret said softly. Fine. I will tell you everything, Captain. She took a breath. Her free hand touched Emma's hair gently. Emma tried to pull away, but could not move. When I came to this palace, I was nothing, Lady Margaret began. Nobody looked at me. Nobody cared. I had a title, but no money, no power, no friends. But Emma, her voice became softer when she said the name. Emma was different. She smiled at me. She asked about my life. She treated me like I mattered, like I was important. William listened carefully. He was watching the knife, watching Lady Margaret's hand, looking for any chance to act. I fell in love with her, Lady Margaret continued. Real love, deep love. I wanted to give her everything. I wanted to protect her from all the fake people in this palace, all the people who pretend to care but only want to use her. I could make her happy. I could give her a real life. But she did not understand. She kept wanting to leave, to go help strangers, to waste herself on people who do not deserve her. So you locked her in this room, William said quietly. I saved her, Lady Margaret snapped. Her voice was sharp again, angry. In a few more days, she would understand. She would see that I am the only one who truly loves her. We would be happy together, away from all this fake royal life. Emma spoke then. Her voice was hoarse but firm. I will never love you, Margaret. Never. What you are doing is not love. It is sickness. It is wrong. The knife pressed harder against Emma's neck. A tiny drop of blood appeared. William's whole body tensed, ready to move, ready to fight. Do not say that, Lady Margaret whispered. Her hand was shaking now. Do not ever say that. I have given you everything. I have protected you. You have hurt me, Emma interrupted. Tears ran down her face. You have scared me. You have starved me. You have made me a prisoner. If you really loved me, you would let me go. Lady Margaret's hand shook harder. The knife moved away from Emma's neck just a little bit. Just enough. William saw his chance. He took it. He lunged forward fast. Faster than a man his age should be able to move. His hand grabbed Lady Margaret's wrist like iron. She screamed. She tried to cut him with the knife. But William was stronger, much stronger. He twisted her arm. She had to drop the knife. It fell to the floor with a clatter. Lady Margaret fought, like a wild animal. She scratched at his face. She tried to bite him. She screamed terrible words. But William held her tight. He pulled her away from Emma. He wrapped his arms around her, so she could not move. It is over, William said firmly. It is over now. Lady Margaret suddenly stopped fighting. All the strength left her body. She started to cry. Big, heavy sobs that shook her whole body. I loved her, she kept saying over and over. I loved her so much. Why could she not love me back? William held her until palace guards burst through the main door. They had heard the noise. They had come running. They took Lady Margaret from William. She was still crying, still saying she loved Emma as they led her away in chains. Finally, William turned to Emma. Emma sat in the chair. She was shaking. Her whole body trembled like a leaf in the wind. Her hands were still tied with the silk scarves. Her face was wet with tears. She looked at William, but she did not speak. She could not speak. William knelt down beside her. His big, rough hands worked gently to untie the scarves. The silk had been tied too tight. Emma's wrists were red and sore. William's heart broke, seeing the marks, seeing what Lady Margaret had done to this kind, sweet princess. "You are safe now, Princess Emma," William said softly. His voice was gentle, like a father talking to his daughter. "You are safe. She cannot hurt you any more." The scars fell away. Emma's hands were free. For a moment, she just stared at her wrists, like she could not believe it was real, like she thought she was dreaming. Then Emma did something that surprised William completely. She threw her arms around his neck. She held him tight and cried. Not small, quiet tears. Big, loud sobs that came from deep in her heart. All the fear she had held inside for 3 days came pouring out. William held her carefully. This young woman he had promised to protect. He felt the weight of how close he had come to losing her. How close she had come to disappearing forever. "I knew you would come," Emma whispered between sobs. "I knew when you found my note, you would save me. I knew it. I will always find you," William promised. "Always. No matter what." They stayed like that for a moment. Then William heard footsteps. Many footsteps. Running down the hallway. The palace doctor arrived first. Dr. Harris was an old man with kind eyes and gentle hands. Behind him came nurses carrying bags and blankets. "Step aside, Captain," Dr. Harris said. "Let me see the princess." William moved back. He stood against the wall and watched as the doctor examined Emma. Dr. Harris worked quickly but carefully. He checked her pulse, her breathing. He looked at her wrists where the scarves had cut into her skin. "She is dehydrated," the doctor said. His voice was serious. "Very dehydrated. She has not eaten in days. Her body is weak, but she will be okay. She will recover." The nurses brought water. Emma drank slowly, small sips. Her hands shook holding the cup. They brought warm blankets and wrapped them around her shoulders. They brought medicine for pain. William watched it all. He did not leave. He stood by the door like a guardian, like a soldier protecting his post. His uniform was torn from breaking through the service entrance. His face had scratches from Lady Margaret's attack. But he did not care. He would not leave until he knew Emma was truly safe. More footsteps came. Fast footsteps. The Queen arrived, Emma's mother. Queen Catherine was a strong woman. She never showed emotion in public. But when she saw her daughter sitting there, pale and weak and wrapped in blankets, the Queen's face crumbled. "Emma," the Queen whispered. She rushed to her daughter's side. She fell to her knees beside the chair. "My baby, my sweet baby, what has happened to you?" Emma looked at her mother. Fresh tears came to her eyes. "Mama," she said, just that one word. But it held so much pain, so much fear, so much relief. The Queen held her daughter. She stroked her hair. She kissed her forehead. Queen Catherine was crying too. William had never seen the Queen cry before, not once in 15 years. "I am so sorry," the Queen said. "I am so sorry. I trusted her. I brought her into our home. I let her near you. This is my fault." "No, Mama," Emma said weakly. "You could not have known. She fooled everyone. Everyone except Captain Stone." The Queen looked up at William. Her eyes were red from crying. "You saved her," the Queen said. "You saved my daughter's life." William stood straight. Formal. "It is my duty, Your Majesty. My honor." "It was more than duty," the Queen said. She stood and walked to William. She took his rough, scarred hands in her royal hands. "You broke rules. You acted alone. You risked everything because you believed the note on the floor. You are a hero, Captain Stone. A true hero. William did not know what to say. He was not good with words. He was a soldier, a protector. He just did what needed to be done. The doctor spoke again. Your Majesty, the princess needs rest. Real rest. In a proper bed, with proper care. She needs food, medicine, time to heal. The Queen nodded. Of course. Move her to the West Wing, to my own private chambers. I want guards at every door. No, Emma said suddenly. Her voice was quiet but firm. Everyone looked at her. Not the West Wing. I want to stay here. Here. The Queen looked shocked. Emma, this room holds terrible memories. You can want to stay here. Emma looked around the room. The chair where she had been tied. The window where she had tried to escape. The door that had been locked for 3 days. If I leave, Emma said slowly, then she wins. Lady Margaret wanted to drive me out of my own home, to make me afraid. I will not let her do that. This is my room, my space. I will take it back. William felt pride swell in his chest. Even after everything, Emma was strong. She was brave. She refused to let fear control her. The Queen understood. She nodded slowly. Very well, but the locks will be removed, and you will never be alone. Not until you feel safe again. I feel safe now, Emma said. She looked at William. As long as Captain Stone is here, I feel safe. The doctor gave Emma medicine to help her sleep. The nurses helped her to her bed. Clean sheets, soft pillows. The Queen sat beside the bed and held her daughter's hand. William started to leave, to give them privacy. But Emma called out, Captain Stone, will you stay? Just outside the door? I need to know you are there. I will not leave this hallway, William promised. Not tonight. Not until you tell me to go. Emma smiled, a real smile, small but real. Then the medicine took effect. Her eyes closed. She fell into a deep, peaceful sleep, the first peaceful sleep in 3 days. The Queen stayed for another hour. Then she stood and walked to where William waited in the hallway. Thank you, she said again. I can never repay what you have done today. No payment needed, Your Majesty, William said. The Queen left. The nurses left. The doctor left. But William stayed. He stood outside Emma's door all night, his back against the wall, his eyes never closing, watching, waiting, protecting. Inside the room, Emma slept, and for the first time in 3 days, she did not have nightmares. She did not dream of locked doors and cold voices. She dreamed of open windows and sunshine and freedom, because she knew that on the other side of her door stood a man who would die before he let anyone hurt her again, a man who had proven that loyalty was stronger than locks, that courage was stronger than fear, that one person who truly cares can change everything. William Stone, her protector, her hero, her friend. And as the sun rose over the palace, bringing a new day, both Emma and William knew that the hardest part was not over. Healing would take time. Trust would need to be rebuilt. Fear would return in quiet moments. But they would face it together. The statement would be released in a few days. But first, Emma had one more thing to do. She asked William to come to her private sitting room, just the two of them. When he arrived, Emma was holding a small box. I have something for you, she said. William looked at the small box in Emma's hands. He felt nervous. He did not like receiving gifts. He was a simple man, a soldier. He did his job. That was enough for him. Princess, you do not need to give me anything, William said. I was just doing my duty. Emma shook her head. She opened the box. Inside was a medal. It shined in the afternoon light. The Royal Victorian Medal. This was a very special honor. Only people who did exceptional service for the royal family received it. This is not about duty, Emma said softly. This is about you seeing me as a human being worth saving, not just a princess worth protecting. You saw my note and you believed me immediately. You did not question. You did not hesitate. You broke down gates and walls to reach me. That deserves more than just a thank you. She took the medal from the box. Her hands were steady now, not shaking like before. She pinned it carefully to William's uniform, right over his heart. "You gave me my life back, Captain William Stone," Emma said. Tears filled her eyes, but she was smiling. "This medal is just a piece of metal, but what you gave me is priceless. You gave me hope. You gave me freedom. You gave me tomorrow." William felt something wet on his cheeks. He was crying. He, a tough old soldier who had seen war and death, was crying. He wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. "It was my honor, Princess Emma," he said. His voice was rough with emotion. "My greatest honor." Emma hugged him, not like a princess hugging a servant, like a daughter hugging her father, like family. "When it is just us," Emma said, "you should call me Emma. Just Emma. We've been through too much for formalities." William smiled. "Yes, Emma. Just Emma." 2 days later, Emma's statement was released to the public. It was printed in newspapers, read on television, shared on the internet. The whole world learned what had happened to Princess Emma. People were shocked, angry, sad, but mostly they were inspired. Emma's words touched hearts everywhere. She talked about the difference between love and control, about recognizing warning signs, about having the courage to ask for help. Thousands of letters arrived at the palace. Letters from people who had survived similar situations. Letters thanking Emma for speaking out. Letters from people who said her story gave them courage to leave dangerous relationships. Letters from parents who now knew what signs to watch for in their children's friendships. Emma read many of the letters. She cried reading some of them, but she also smiled. Her pain was helping others. Her story was making a difference. 3 weeks after her rescue, Emma returned to her charity work. She visited a children's hospital. It was her first public appearance since the incident. The crowd was huge. Reporters, cameras, people wanting to see her, to know she was okay. William walked beside her, close but not too close. 6 other guards surrounded them, but Emma felt safe. She smiled and waved at the people. Some of them cried seeing her. Some of them cheered. All of them loved her. Inside the hospital, Emma met with sick children. She sat on their beds and talked to them. She held their hands. She read them stories. This was what she loved. This was who she was. Lady Margaret had tried to take this away from her, but Emma had taken it back. A little girl named Sophie, only 7 years old, was very sick. She had cancer. She was bald from the medicine, weak and tired. But when Emma came into her room, Sophie's face lit up like the sun. "Princess Emma," Sophie said. "You came." "Of course I came," Emma said gently. She sat on Sophie's bed. "I promised I would visit, remember? I always keep my promises." Sophie looked at Emma with big, serious eyes. "I heard what happened to you, about the bad lady who locked you up. Were you very scared?" Emma thought about lying, about saying she was fine. But she looked at this brave little girl fighting cancer and decided to tell the truth. "Yes," Emma said. "I was very scared. The most scared I've ever been." "But you survived," Sophie said. "You got out. You are here now." Emma smiled. "Yes, I survived. Just like you are surviving. We are both fighters. Sophie, we are both strong." Sophie reached out and held Emma's hand. "When I am scared at night, I think about brave people. People who fight and do not give up. Now I will think about you." Emma felt tears in her eyes. "And I will think about you, Sophie. We will be brave together." William watched from the doorway. He saw Emma with the children, saw her giving them hope and joy. This was why she needed to be protected. Not because she was a princess, but because she was a light in the darkness, a voice for people who felt alone. The months passed. Emma continued her work. She spoke at events about recognizing obsession and control. She helped create new programs to protect people in dangerous relationships. She became a symbol of survival and strength. William stayed by her side, always watching, always protecting. But their relationship had changed. They were not just princess and guard anymore. They were friends, real friends. Emma's nightmares became less frequent, then rare, then they stopped completely. She could sleep through the night without fear. She could walk into her room without feeling scared. She had truly reclaimed her space, her life, her happiness. 1 year after the incident, Emma held a special ceremony. It was in the palace gardens. The same gardens where William had broken the gate to save her. A new gate had been built, a beautiful iron gate with flowers carved into it. On the gate was a plaque. It read, "In memory of courage and loyalty, may we always remember that one person who cares can change everything." Emma stood beside the gate with William. The Queen was there, palace staff, friends, family, people Emma had helped through her charity work. "This gate represents what happened here," Emma said to the crowd. Behind it was darkness, fear, captivity. But Captain William Stone broke through that darkness. He refused to follow rules when a life was at stake. He showed me that courage is not about being fearless. It is about acting despite fear. She turned to William. "You taught me that loyalty can break any lock. That one person who truly cares is stronger than 100 people who just pretend. You saved my life, Captain Stone. But more than that, you taught me how to live again." 3 days passed. Emma stayed in her bed most of the time. The doctor came every morning and every evening. He brought food, soup at first, then bread, then soft fruits. Emma's body was weak. She had to eat slowly, build her strength back little by little. William never left. He took shifts with other guards, but he was always nearby, always watching. The Queen tried to send him home to rest. "You have done enough, Captain," she said. "Go home, sleep in your own bed." But William refused. "With respect, Your Majesty, I will stay until the princess tells me to leave." The Queen did not argue. She understood. On the 4th day, Emma asked to sit by the window. The nurses helped her walk. Her legs were shaky. She had been in bed too long. But she made it to the big chair near the window, the same chair where Lady Margaret had tied her. Emma sat down and looked outside. The garden was beautiful. Green grass, colorful flowers, birds singing in the trees. Emma had not seen it in so long. Tears came to her eyes. Happy tears this time. William watched from the doorway. He saw the tears and started to leave, to give her privacy. "Stay," Emma said without turning around. "Please, I do not want to be alone with my thoughts." William came into the room. He stood near the window, not too close, just close enough that Emma knew he was there. "Thank you," Emma said quietly, "for everything, for believing my note, for breaking down that gate, for saving my life." "You do not need to thank me, Princess," William said. "Yes, I do." Emma turned to look at him. Her eyes were serious. "You risked your career. You could have waited for permission, called for backup, done everything by the rules. But you did not. You came alone because you knew I needed help right away. That was not duty, Captain Stone. That was courage." William felt uncomfortable with praise. He never knew what to say. "I just did what was right." "Exactly," Emma said. She smiled a little. "You did what was right, not what was easy, not what was safe. What was right. That makes you special." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Emma watched the birds. William watched Emma, making sure she was okay, making sure she was healing. "They told me about Lady Margaret," Emma said after a while. Her voice was quiet. "About the investigation." William nodded. The palace had investigated everything. They found out the truth about Lady Margaret Frost. Her real name was Margaret Cole. She was not a noble lady. She was not related to the royal family. Everything about her was a lie. Margaret had been watching Emma for over a year, following her, learning about her. She read articles about Emma's charity work. She studied Emma's schedule. She learned what Emma liked, what Emma cared about. Then she created a fake identity, fake papers, fake recommendations, all to get close to Emma. She was sick, Emma said, in her mind. She believed she loved me, but it was not love. It was obsession. "Yes," William agreed. "The doctors say she has a mental illness." She cannot tell the difference between love and possession, between caring and controlling. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I feel sorry for her." William was surprised. "Sorry? After what she did to you?" "Yes," Emma said. "She is sick. She needs help. I am angry at her. So angry. But I also feel sad for her. She must have been in so much pain to do something like this." William looked at Emma with new respect. Even after being hurt so badly, Emma still had compassion, still had kindness in her heart. That was who she was. That was why everyone loved her. "What will happen to her?" Emma asked. "She is in a hospital now," William explained. "A special hospital for people with mental illness. She will stay there for many years, maybe forever. She will get treatment, therapy, medicine. She cannot hurt you again." Emma nodded. She looked relieved. Not happy, but relieved. The next few weeks were hard. Emma had nightmares. She would wake up screaming, thinking she was still locked in that room, thinking Lady Margaret was standing over her with a knife. The nurses would come running. The doctor would give her medicine. But the person who helped the most was William. He would sit in the chair by her bed. He would talk to her in his calm, steady voice. He would tell her stories about his childhood, about his time in the army, about funny things that happened in the palace. Anything to take her mind off the fear. Slowly, the nightmares came less often. Slowly, Emma started to smile again, to laugh, to feel like herself. One morning, Emma announced she wanted to go outside. Really outside, not just the window. She wanted to walk in the garden, to feel the sun on her face, to breathe fresh air. The Queen was worried. "Are you sure, darling? Is it too soon?" "I need to do this, Mama," Emma said. "I cannot hide in this room forever. I need to start living again." So they went outside. Emma, the Queen, William, and 6 other guards. Emma wore a simple blue dress, her favorite color. Her hair was brushed and clean. She looked more like herself. The grass felt soft under her feet. The sun was warm. The flowers smelled sweet. Emma closed her eyes and took a deep breath. This was freedom. This was life. They walked slowly through the garden. Emma stopped to touch the roses, to smell the lavender, to watch the butterflies. Simple things, beautiful things, things she had almost lost forever. "I want to go back to work," Emma said suddenly. "My charity work, visiting the hospitals, helping the children. I want to start again." The Queen looked worried. "Are you ready for that? The crowds? The attention? The stress?" Emma looked at her mother, then at William. "I will never be completely ready. Fear will always be there a little bit, but I cannot let fear stop me from living. Lady Margaret wanted to cage me, to keep me locked away. If I stay hidden, then she wins. I refuse to let her win." William felt that pride again. Emma was not just recovering. She was coming back stronger, braver, more determined. "I will go with you," William said, "to every hospital, every shelter, every event. I will be there." Emma smiled at him, a real, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "I know you will, Captain. That is why I am not afraid anymore." The Queen wiped tears from her eyes, happy tears. She hugged her daughter tight. "You're the strongest person I know, Emma, the bravest. I am so proud of you." That afternoon, Emma made a decision. She called a meeting with the palace press office. She wanted to make a statement, to tell her story, to help other people who might be in similar situations. The Queen was against it at first. "You do not need to share this, Emma. It is private, personal." But Emma was firm. "If I stay silent, then I am ashamed. I am not ashamed. I am a survivor. And if my story can help even one person recognize the signs of obsession, recognize when someone is trying to control them, then it is worth it." The statement was written carefully. Emma read it over many times. She changed words, added details, made sure it said exactly what she wanted to say. In the statement, Emma talked about obsession disguised as love, about trusting your instincts when something feels wrong, about asking for help, about never being ashamed of being a victim. about the courage it takes to survive. The crowd clapped. Many people were crying. William stood straight and proud in his uniform. The medal Emma had given him shined on his chest. Later, as the sun set over the palace, Emma and William walked together through the gardens. They did not talk much. They did not need to. Some bonds are deeper than words. Emma looked up at her window, the window where she had once been trapped. Now the curtains were open. Light poured out. Music played softly from inside. Her room was full of life again, full of hope. "Are you happy?" William asked. Emma thought about the question. She thought about everything she had been through, the fear, the pain, the recovery, the work she was doing now, the people she was helping. "Yes," she said finally, "I am happy. Not because nothing bad happened, but because I survived it. I am stronger now, braver, more alive than ever before." William smiled. "Good. That is all I ever wanted, for you to be happy." They walked back toward the palace. Tomorrow Emma would visit another hospital. Next week she would speak at a conference about domestic violence. Next month she would open a new shelter for people escaping dangerous situations. Her life was full, meaningful, free, and always, walking beside her, was the man who had broken down gates to save her. The man who proved that sometimes the greatest love is not romantic. It is a love of a protector who sees your worth and refuses to let the world diminish it. William Stone, her hero, her guardian, her friend. The palace lights glowed warm against the night sky. Inside, people laughed and talked and lived. Outside, the gardens grew wild and beautiful. And somewhere between the two, Emma had found her place again. Not as a princess locked in a tower, but as a survivor standing in the light.